Hi, guys. Welcome here. Another edition of Dawn's Dirt. And dirt doesn't just mean dirt soil, it can mean anything. It can be politics, religion. And today we are going to talk about milking cows. And so I am here with my friend Betsy. Now, because of the nature of our conversation, we're just going to leave Betsy off screen and we're just going to have a conversation like this. So sorry you're stuck with this mug, but Betsy's lovely and beautiful and she's just right here beside me. So. Welcome here, Betsy.
Well, thanks for having me, Dawn.
Yeah.
Definitely passionate about it, and I hope that we can help inspire different people in your audience.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your family? And you told me a story off screen earlier. So if you want to just share some of that with us, that would be great.
Yeah, I guess what I like to share with people, just learning as they go in their health journey and, just the trend that has brought people to a desperate point through COVID, all the different things, with all the different resources we have on the internet today, into just searching out how they can make a difference and change the way they view health and access good, wholesome food.
For sure. I love that. And so how did you get started on your journey? Were you raised on the farm and then tell me a little bit about your family just in general, now. So how'd you get going on your journey here?
I guess I like to tell people my parents were both full-on city folk, raised downtown Toronto. My mom said that they watched the Wilderness Family growing up. Also had camp, Christian camp, like pioneer camp experiences as teens that just led them to know that there's different ways to live that are adventurous and exciting, and they wanted that for their family. So they moved out west, found a community way up north, little Cleardale, Alberta, that's just Mennonite community. Actually, they just took them under their wing, wanted them there, gave them land for cheap, $3,000 for a quarter section.
Oh my God. Sign me up. I mean, that sounds amazing. Wow. $3,000 for a quarter.
So I think even back then it was a really, really good deal. And so, they knew it and they were like, yeah, you know what? They're giving us this deal because they want us there. So he was a teacher and they, jumped right in building a log barn from a book, with trees off their land, borrow the neighbors' horses, haul them out and just went full out. Had our first 2 kids in the barn and then built their log home, and the rest of us 3. And then my youngest sister was born when they moved from there 15 years later. So there was 6 of us kids total. They did goats, cows, dabbling in pigs and chickens and just everything. And my mom homeschooled off and on too with the older kids.
So I'm learning this all for the first time as well. Like, I've known you for a while, but like, you were raised on a homestead. Like, how cool is that? Wow, I'm just blown away.
From scratch, swampland. They made a dugout to have water and.
Oh wow, that's fascinating. So that's your background. And so, so fast forward a little. So you left your parents' home, obviously, and you got married and you've got a few babies of your own. And so where are you at now? Like, you've got a cow.
Yes. That's why you've got me here.
Yes, exactly.
I guess, from, the typical kids, raised with all those things that our parents gifted us with, not necessarily really appreciating them the way that you should
when you're little, for sure.
And then going through that journey myself, like raising our own kids, even having a husband that didn't really appreciate some of the things that I thought, oh man, like this would be great to be able to have. My mom did it. So grinding my own flour, making bread. He was like, it's $5 at the store. Just buy it.
Buy it. That's funny. Yeah.
So yeah, I just learned kind of, I would say, the hard way with my third child, that like all of a sudden we had health issues, allergies, all these things that I had to kind of troubleshoot and get to the base of. The doctors were no help for it. I was really clueless until she was about 1.5 years, and a friend was like, you know what? There's something not right. Her nose is constantly snotty. Like,
Interesting.
I think she's either got like, like air kind of like pollen allergies or something else. And so, yeah, we started digging, getting help from naturopath, chiropractor, holistic kind of like help
approach. Yeah.
And yeah, got to the base of it. It was the casein protein in milk, not the lactose.
Oh, interesting.
And
what does that mean? Casein protein. So you've got a cow now, and so you milked cows. So what does that mean? Explain. So you took her off dairy, I'm assuming, and then how did that look?
Yeah, so we kind of did the whole healing process of the gut to hopefully help her outgrow that allergy, was my understanding, with a lot of research off of the westernaidprice.org foundation website.
Okay.
Tons of people put free articles on there, so I just did like crash course reading a lot of stuff.
For sure.
And yeah, that got me into, whole milk, unpasteurized is the way to go for reintroduction if you want best chance at healing those allergies. So yeah, I definitely found out a lot about the casein protein being different from cow to cow as well, with the A2 and A1 and
the blood types in the cow. Yeah, absolutely. So you've got a milk cow. And you milk your cow and you feed your children, because that's totally legal. So you choose your cows based on blood type?
Well, I've actually never done a genetic test, even though it's very cheap and easy to do.
Yeah.
I just tested on my daughter because I knew what was her reaction and allergies. So we tried our neighbor's Jersey milk at one point. She still reacted, had little bumps on her nose instead of the mucus. So her reaction was better, but still there.
Yeah.
And then we had gone a miniature milk cow. I was raised with goats mostly. So my husband did not want goats. And so that was our compromise. Miniature milk cow. She was a Dexter. And I just approached it. Okay, I'm just going to gradually do colostrum, little bits at a time, see how her body handles it. Sure enough, she was able to handle it, no problem. So I was like, okay, this must be an A2.
Hey, yeah. Nice. Okay, so you got your first cow, you're feeding your daughter. Can you explain a little bit of the process of milking on a small scale?
Yeah, I guess you get a bond with your cow. You can just put so much more attention into cleanliness, and just monitoring their health and the just different things that can compromise the milk. Jars, cleaning, udder, the equipment. Initially, like hand milking, like you're constantly getting like debris in the milk, and straining is a really important part of it. And
have you ever seen that there's a little TikTok video where they're milking the goat, and then they're milking the goat, and then the goat like shits into the milk. And then there's a guy like drinking bubble tea or something like that. That just made me think of that. I was like, oh, that's gross. So could you take me through, I guess, a day on your little farm there? Like, what do you do in like your milking routine? Like, you get up in the morning, and how take us through that.
I guess right now I'm kind of haphazard with just our schedule. We've got kids in sports and doing lots of different things. So I run the kids into school, and then I come home and do the milking around 9:30.
Okay,
is what I aim for. Not always perfect.
Yeah.
And the cows always are very scheduled animals. So she's always there at the gate. And if I'm not there, then she'll wander off, and then I have to find her.
So you know that if you're not there for her, she's not there for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and every cow is different, though, honestly. Like, with my miniature cow, like, oh, she was a nightmare. She like did not care about grain. She was not food motivated, didn't even like to be scratched, just unpersonable. And like I had to track her down everywhere she went. And so it was a pain in the butt. The one I have right now, she comes when called. Just loves her food and scratches. And I like that. And that's the difference between goats and cows, I would say, is goats are a lot more personable in general. Cows can be, but just hit and miss.
Okay, so she comes to the gate, and if you're there on time, she's there. You let her in, and where do you go from there? Where do you go into a barn? Do you go into where you take her into?
Yeah, so I started out with our miniature milk cow. We just tied her up to a fence, milked her right there. She didn't give a whole lot. She had a hairy udder. Oh, it was a pain at the moment. Okay, we gradually moved into a little birthing pen that we had on the farm. We just put them in a head gate. And from there we decided, okay, like, we know what we want. Let's build a little stanchion in our barn. Cleared away our stuff. And that's a lot more comfortable now. I also have a milking machine too, so that's what I primarily use now that like I've got a big cow. It was very intimidating for me to think about, having that much milk and handling such a big animal. I really wanted it for my kids to have that experience with the milk. And I was like, oh, what if they get stepped on? But she's been amazing, just a gentle giant. And the milk has been a blessing to have that excess, and you have enough cream for butter, and my pets get it too. And
I would like to move in with you. Do you got an extra bedroom? I can move in with you. That sounds so cool. I love it.
Not say that on the day they have to milk.
Fair enough. I might offer to milk for you once or twice. I can remember growing up, my grandparents had a dairy farm, and I can remember going out, and I loved milking cows. I wanted to marry a dairy farmer, actually. But I would have loved to. So you started off milking by hand, and then you moved to a milk machine, and that's kind of made your life simpler.
Yeah, like my forearms were constantly tight. I remember getting a guy to work on them with IMS once, and I literally fainted because they were so tight and painful.
Oh, really? From doing the work of...
Yeah. So milking by hand, it's something that gradually, you build up, and then, you just constantly got like muscle bound forearms. So the machine is great. A little bit more work cleaning, but the amount of stuff that you can get, chores that you can get done while it's on her, is worthwhile, in my opinion. Not everyone.
So what I'm hearing you say is, if you want a good workout, don't join a gym, get a milk cow.
For your forearms.
For your forearms, anyway. Well, and then lifting the pails and lifting the Farmers know how to work for sure.
You have to be careful with your lower back though, lifting the pails.
I got that. I've got back pain from the potatoes I've always lifted in the... No, my lower back is sore all the time from lifting, and probably lifting improperly. So okay, so how much does a single milk cow, what kind of cow do you currently have?
So she's a Fleck-Fay milk cow right now.
Okay, and how much milk do you get in a day? Do you milk her twice a day or just once a day?
When I have her calf on, it's just once a day. But if I didn't have a calf on, like I would get... Oh man, I guess I do it by the 2.5 gallon jars. So that'd be for approximately 8 to 10 gallons a day.
Wow.
For the first couple months of her lactation, and then it just gradually kind of just backs off from there.
Because that's natural. Yeah. Okay. And so let's chat for a moment about the regulations around selling raw milk in Canada. And what's your thoughts on... It says here, like, why is it illegal to sell raw milk? What's your understanding of it?
I actually was trying to do a little bit of research into the comment. That's all right. I just always rolled with, like, if I need it, and, I know people who it doesn't kill, then I'm game for trying.
Yeah, for sure.
Mind you, I don't try complete raw diets, because I know of a guy who, like, eats raw meat, and he literally eats, like, cow poop, too. So there's whole different levels of extreme.
That wow, that
no.
Wow.
But so the restrictions, from my understanding, in Canada are worse than other places. There's a huge movement in the States right now where over half the states have legalized the sale of raw milk. I think that they're able to do that through foundations that have kind of banded together to have a standard of cleanliness that is way far beyond pasteurization, dairy standards.
Okay.
So, yeah, like I have friends who work on dairy farms that they're just like, yeah, like this is disgusting. Like they don't even clean their udders properly because they know it's just getting pasteurized. And so, in my opinion, I'm like, no wonder why people are developing allergies to this.
Yeah.
They're in contact with this dead bacteria that their body is building this resistance to.
Yeah.
They see it, but it's not, something that's going to kill them, but it's still there.
Yeah.
And so
that's so you clean your udders. What do you clean your udder with?
So I actually just use warm water, and then I use wet wipes for kind of my finishing touch. Baby.
Hey, if it works, it works, right?
I'm not like following the raw me. There's a rawmilkinstitute.org standard to the T, but I'm kind of following what I understand and find effective and I'm comfortable with following because I'm not trying to sell it and, high market of, volume that ends up putting you more at risk.
Yeah, right. Or like a dairy farm would have to, do different things.
Yeah, with all their equipment and lines, like they have to use chemical in order to keep things clean.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and like you said, you like things a bit more natural. So for your family, for your use, you keep things a bit more natural. I like that. Okay, so have you encountered challenges or concerns regarding the legal restrictions on the sale of milk?
Say that again, sir.
Have you encountered challenges like in the sale of raw milk? Like people, I'm sure, approach you for milk and like it's illegal. So like has there been some challenges around that, or what's your thoughts?
Well, it's not necessarily a challenge per se, like when you just can't.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I would say I've heard of people that have approached it in, different like herd share things or, having a cow where like they split the milking on the farm or there's, pet food sales. Like there's lots of people who approach things that way. But yeah, as far as like my personal, like don't have
anything. You got lots of kids. You got lots of kids. Hearing the kids. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Is there any misconceptions to raw milk that you'd like to clear up? So what are some, because you hear people say, oh, raw milk is so bad and you have to have pasteurization and then homogenization and all in the milk that we find in a grocery store. So what are some misconceptions around raw milk that you what's your thoughts on that?
Well, actually, like even just listening to some things like on the way here to kind of try and be a little bit more current with what information is out there. I would say misconceptions like on the raw milk side of it. Like some people think that it's going to fix everything in their, diet. And I'm like, no. You have to approach everything holistically. Like everything affects everything. Yeah. And like some people do have those amazing stories where they're like, okay, I like only did raw milk for 2 weeks and it like completely healed my gut. Yeah. But I don't know. Like I feel like those are maybe like not the norm for everyone. Like everyone's health and genetics are different.
Yeah, and I can see that. Sure.
Yeah.
And then what about on the other side? I actually really appreciate that you said that because I've heard the same thing that, oh, just drink raw milk and that'll fix all your problems. Well, no, I appreciate that you said that there's, different people. Like we are all different. We all have different body types. We all have different gut, whatever, health issues. So what a great answer. But on the other side of it, on the illegal side of it, and the reason that we're not allowed to buy raw milk from your neighbor down the road, like I grew up on raw milk, when my grandparents had the dairy and then we used to go to the neighbor's farm and, get milk out of the bulk tank. And that's what I grew up on. But then they passed those laws and said, you can't have raw milk. So, what do you know about the reasons why it's illegal, or what's your understanding of why is it illegal?
Well, yeah, actually, I should just do a little pin in the comments for like an amazing resource. I was listening to one of the guys, history, which like he has like more dairy kind of knowledge there. But yeah, apparently like it was a big concern as the demand came more from the cities for these bigger dairies. They were feeding these cows high grain from these distillery diets, which was making them very acidic, unhealthy. They ended up starting to get tuberculosis, like all these different health issues that just compromised their herds, that led to this overgrowth of different pathogens in the milk. Okay. And I think that is where it actually stems from, was they were like, okay, how can we still sell this product that, you know, is coming from these unhealthy herds and living situations, because they were growing, right?
Yeah.
And so they were like, okay, like this is how we can deal with this, and not really kind of, you know, again, taking the whole picture into things. Okay, like maybe we should change this instead of do this.
They put a Band-Aid on a problem instead of solving the problem.
Yeah.
The Band-Aid is pasteurization. And then, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and it's not necessarily, yeah, like it really is the safest way to produce milk in bulk and get products to people in, you know, these huge cities. Like it's, I don't blame them for doing that.
Right.
It's if people are able to follow these different guidelines and downscale, you know, and not make the big bucks,
right,
then they can get a safe product.
Right. So, okay. So what I hear you're saying is it makes sense. Pasteurization makes sense on a large scale, but it doesn't make sense on a small scale, person to person, if that was legal, if we were able to do that. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's really, in my opinion, the only way to get back to that whole food that's you know where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. You can kind of
know your farmer.
Yeah. Or just have it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But because it's illegal. We're saying it's illegal. We know it's illegal. We're here. It is illegal. Yeah. So if we lobbied our governments, really, maybe we could kind of change some rules around that if enough people did it.
I think, yeah, that's the way they're going about it in the States. So I think that potentially like that can come to Canada. It's just a matter of enough people getting on board, joining these groups to make a change. And I'd say buy a cow. Like you'd need way more backup, like, and people involved to actually get enough product for, you know, yourself as well as 5 other families or whatever, right? Like it's not just a simple, you know, big time industry thing. And I think that's why there's been so much pushback. They don't want the competition.
Right. See that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, especially with the quota system here in Canada and things like that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So when we were talking off camera earlier, you were telling me about, you're saying like, you would encourage, because you were talking about your parents coming from the city, moving to this quarter section, which $3,000. I'm still blown away by that. Wow. That really is homesteading. So you were talking to me about like what you would say to someone from the city who just bought a little chunk of land, is just thinking about, you know, all these holistic things, growing a garden, which is what I do. I teach you how to grow gardens and grow food in the space you have. So what would you say to someone who's getting a cow or is thinking about getting a cow or a goat for the first time? What would you say to that?
Well, I guess, like do your research, start small. Like even for me with the background that I had from my parents, you know, having the milking experience, knowing that it's possible, I still was like, okay, just little bits here, you know, like small, and then kind of growing by realizing that the small actually caused more hassle in the long run for me in my situation. Yeah. But like the goat, like I still have a goat as well. And like she's my backup during dry season for the cow in the summertime. Yeah. And like you can just take little bits here and there. Like you said, like the garden like doesn't have to be full scale.
I don't do 20 acres right off the bat, or you can, and I can coach you through that and I can help you through that. But Yeah, it is. I see what you're saying. So start with maybe a goat and then move to a little bit bigger cow, just like your journey was, right? Like,
Yeah, and then get that support system around you because like that's something. It's a lifestyle change because it is commitment.
yeah,
But yeah, like it's not getting so stuck in a rut that you're so tied down, and you can't trust anyone else with your animal, like to where you're like, okay, like I've got the support system. I can call this neighbor and they can milk the cow for me, and I can go up and take care of my mom if she's sick, or whatever. Like those kind of things, like that are necessary in life.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so can you share any stories of well, you've already shared about your child, but do you know of anyone else? Like, do you have a community? Can you share any stories of other people that you know that have a cow and are drinking raw milk? And can you share any health benefit stories to other people doing this for their families?
Yeah, we've actually got a group of us. We actually just met for coffee just the other day and just chatted cows for like an hour and a half.
Really
Fun.
And it was just the whole group of people and talking cows and how to milk and what to do and
people from all different kind of stages too. Like some of them were like getting their cow literally in a week, and then others were like, been doing it and even had a dairy years ago. So it's you can just learn from different people so much. And yeah, like I'd say you hear all sorts of stories and things that you're like, wow, I would never do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But like I'd say the general consensus is with different people who own different cows, the Jersey are a harder breed to deal with in Canada, cold winters and just, I don't know if it's genetics or what it is, but like they're just so bred to produce that they do have more struggles. So those times of like high maintenance, really time draining can be more intensified when you get a purebred, full force cow, like breed.
Okay, so like a Jersey or a Holstein.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't necessarily suggest biting off a Holstein right off the bat.
I wouldn't, but yeah, I don't know. There's some people who would just jump right in.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I should. I'm feeling like I need a milk cow for my kids and my family. I would love one. So
I should put a plug in there too.
Yeah.
The goat. It's something that people are like, oh, I just can't stand the taste. But until you had like a fresh cup of goat's milk from a good breed of goat, like don't judge it like by the store because it's awful from the store.
Okay, and I can identify with that because when I had my farm, people would come to me and they'd say, I don't like tomatoes. And I'd say, but have you actually even had a tomato? Because the thing that you buy at a store is not a tomato. And so I would always say to them, taste or texture. And if they said texture, I can't help you. But if they said taste, I'd give them one of my little grape tomatoes and I'd say, here, try this. And they would try it and they would go, oh, I don't like tomatoes, but I like your tomatoes. So the same thing is what you're saying with goat's milk is you might not like goat's milk, but, fresh from your own goat in your own backyard, you might like goat's milk.
Yeah. And then also like it's something that can be acquired. Like humans, like we're so adaptable to, well, you go to different cultures and countries, like, and they eat totally weird things. And you're like, oh, I could never stomach that. But people adjust and are able to handle it and thrive off of lots of different things. And so with my husband, when we dried our miniature milk cow up, I got the goat to kind of tie us over, and he was just so like, oh, this is disgusting, and like just couldn't handle it. He's used to skim milk too growing up, so something that he just did was texture as well as taste.
Yeah.
It's so creamy. And so I just gradually got everyone in the family used to it by adding it to his milk. Oh, that's hilarious. There's always hope for even that's for the lost change.
I love it. Okay. Yeah. So let's get back to this movement. There's a growing movement for more natural and unprocessed foods like raw milk. So how has that affected small scale farmers like yourself, or what's your thought process on that?
Growing demand. I don't know. Like, I guess it gives you an opportunity if you're on a farm to like supplement your income with like little odds and ends, like selling eggs or
Yeah.
just
Growing garden.
growing the garden, just sharing the love.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, there's
So
there's different ways to kind of make money
for sure.
off of what you have.
For sure. And milk in Canada is not, you're not able to do that at this moment. We the people, we need to change this. Let's band together and make it legal. Or change some laws or let's cause a riot, right? About this raw milk thing. So yeah, like, and so through COVID, let's go back. So through COVID, I had people coming up to me saying, you have food, right? Because during COVID, we had those toilet paper wars. And I can remember people, I had one woman, she came up to me and she's like, where's my mom gonna get her food? And I had people coming to me saying, like, I'm scared, I'm not gonna get my food, you're my farmer. Like, and so through that, I think there's been a whole movement of where am I gonna get my food? Relying on our big grocery system, I don't think is the best or the only option that we should choose. And so what's your thoughts on that, as far as, have a milk cow, like, or growing food? What's your thought? That's my thought is, to put it all back into your own backyard again. But yeah, what's your thoughts on?
Yeah, I think that's the most sustainable society, that's self-reliant, right? And that's important to teach our kids, like, where does this come from? It's not just like, a big truck that just magically makes it appear like it's something that it's not easy, but
No.
it's possible. And we can become stronger with that self-reliant kind of just knowledge of, okay, like, this is how we produce this. This is how we can survive when, or in,
crimes or
war or whatever. Like,
well, and that's just it. I mean, COVID kind of brought it. That's the closest our generation has ever had to it. But my grandmother, I mean, she was in the Netherlands during World War II, and yeah, there was honest to goodness food shortages in the cities. And I've been saying for over 10 years now, in the name of health and safety. Oh man, you can tell we're in the country. We got so many flies. Anyways, in the name of health and safety, like, we were getting, like, our bigger farms are getting bigger and our smaller farms are getting smaller. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing too, is to teach people how to get back to that grassroots thing, to learn how these skill sets. I mean, if can you imagine, like, well, I guess your parents bit off more than what they could chew, but they had a community behind them too. And so you've got a community that you go to, but I feel like it'd be a terrible, scary thing if we lost all of these skill sets and and just relied on our dairy system and our big poultry system and our big, grain system and the grocery store. I mean, I think that'd be a kind of a scary thought and a scary day. And I feel like our food system's headed there. So yeah,
there's things that we can tangibly do, like you're doing, to actually, look ahead and be like, oh, this is not where we want to be. And make a change, like in little things, like buying from each other to kind of support each other and in our endeavors and stuff like that. Like going to the farmers markets.
Bring it back to community, really. People working with people, and let's make our food system smaller in many ways rather than so big.
And not just food, like there's so many other things too. Like everything comes from China these days. Like, and then if you find someone who's a small entrepreneur trying to make it go, just support them.
Buy from them, or soap, or different things. I heard of that too, that there's some goat milking people, and they make soap and all kinds of lotions and things out of their goat milk. So have you heard of that? Yeah. So that's a way to use milk as well. I feel strongly about that too, just supporting your local communities, bring it back into communities. And then when you think of health benefits too, like when I think of the grocery store, like the center aisles of our grocery store really isn't food in many ways. Like it's chemical, it's processed, it's been stripped of nutrients and added nutrients, I guess, back or whatever it might be. A lot of the food in the center aisles isn't that great. So what, like you've talked a lot about holistic things. So what's your thought on the way we as people should be eating?
Well, yeah, actually, even just going to the naturopath, like, because I did blood work, for everyone in the family, except for, I think my youngest, I never did do for him, but I kind of knew, like, I was kind of getting to that point where you could just figure out what's going on. Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, there, I just kept on, like, even in the naturopath world, like, pills is a quick fix. Like, like, okay, do these herbs, like, slam this in, you'll heal yourself fast, which I was like, you know what? Like, I really want to do this, like, with food. Like, and so I'm not wanting to buy all this stuff. And then in the health world, it's such a one thing leads to the next, because money does really make the world go round.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, like, if you can realize, like, it's not necessary. Yes, it can help. And I don't totally discredit it, but kind of longevity wise, like, doing that, getting that as real of food as possible, as much, is not going to completely, put your marriage and sanity on the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Like supporting, my friends, like, they make sourdough bread, and I'm like, I do not have the capacity to make bread. Like, she doesn't milking cows. I love it. Yeah, my thing.
Yeah. I love that. And so my thought too, like, the Lord has given us food, and the Lord has created our bodies for food. I mean, even look at my shirt. I got a beef shirt on. Like, we eat meat and we eat vegetables, and so I just think we've been given food, and that's what we're kind of, the more natural food as possible. I think that does play into our overall health, and then that spills into, the rest of it, our minds and all of it. So yeah,
I was hearing someone talk about when I was doing my research.
Yeah, I love that you research so much. I tend to just let's have a conversation. I'm not reading the book, but yeah.
Well, yeah. So this guy, this researcher, had gone to this country. I am terrible with details, so don't ask me where it was. There was this kind of bubble community that, like, they all lived, like, forever. Like, like, they had, like, some guy, he looked like he was 80. He was like 128, and then his son was like 102, and then his son was like 90.
Wow. So like 20 generations.
It was like crazy. Yeah. Like, and so he was just like, wow, like, what is your secret? And that fermenting and probiotics and, like, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
Which, like, thrown at them, he said, like, they could handle, their bodies could flush out the worst of the worst pathogens. Like, and so that kind of perspective, I guess, is kind of a lot that just helps you understand, like, it's not just about, like, being super clean and, like, that mentality that we get, like, the health world. It's sometimes, like, it's a counter with, like, the good.
Right, because you're building up your immune system is really what you're doing. Yeah. So I'm gonna tell a gross little story now. So for a while when I went to farmers markets, and this was pre-COVID, this was many years ago, I always felt like money, like coins, and things, money was, like, dirty. And I was always so concerned about, like, and I would use the hand sanitizer, and I would, like, wash my hands and sanitize and wash my hands. But I was getting sick quite often. And then I watched a vendor, another friend of mine, and she dropped something on the floor, and she picked it up, and she always had these, like, because she was working with produce, and so her hands were always, like, grubby and dirty and stuff. And I watched her pick something up off the floor and eat it. And I was just like, you didn't sanitize, like, whoa, what's going on? And then she's like, yeah, you just were too clean. And so, yeah, like, I stopped using the hand sanitizer, and yeah, since then, like, I don't get sick. Like, like, I just touch the money and lick my hand, like that's my immune system. So I think, so is that what you're saying, is that we need to build up our immunity?
And it's a constant replenishing too. Like you can expose yourself to worse things, like the friend of ours from the area that, like, he literally came out to our our farm and, like, asked for some, like, fresh cow shit. and he said, like, in small amounts, you can kind of expose your body chew these things to build up.
He ate it?
Yes, he did, in front of our own eyes. A lot of the doctors and health kind of practitioners that he follows are based out of India. So I think it's kind of a bigger thing there. But yeah, like people are still living their life. And the idea is that he said he had family that passed very young from cancer, and he's in his kind of like late 30s. And so, yeah, he's just approaching it to kind of, prevent from disease is kind of his approach. And yeah, there is research out there. Like it does seem kind of extreme, some of them, but the idea is the more diverse your guts and immune are, then the more that it can kind of
fight off.
Yeah, like it can kind of just, I'd say, flush out is the best way to put it.
So this is what I'm really hearing you saying. That time that we were in my grandparents' dairy farm, and my uncle and my brother were throwing like the dried cow shit at me, and I was throwing it back, and then it started getting wetter and wetter and wetter. And we were young, and I ran up to my brother and I grabbed him and I pinned him down, and I took fresh cow shit and I put it all in his face. What you're saying is I helped him in the long run. Like, yeah, that's why he's not sick right now. It's because I put shit in his face. Don't tell your kids to go, pin each other down and put.
But my sister does, and she actually did quite a bit of university in the health world, like dabbling in different things. But yeah, ended up an EMT. She did, like, with her kids, like, grab stuff off the floor, put it in their mouth. Like, she was, like, boosting their immune system. Like,
yeah.
So, like, that's where, like, this whole COVID, like, scare thing wasn't a... It was a hoax to people who are aware of that kind of thing. And they weren't able to swallow the lie because they hadn't, believed every little thing fed to them. Just like back in the day, like, history shows, like, people believe things. Like, people thought that breastfeeding was bad. You're a terrible mother if you're...
I wasn't breastfed, like, yeah.
So, like that, it affected our generation, moms, because they'd come up with this perfect scientific formula that's going to fix all your baby's, problems. And they realize, in the health world, maybe natural is best.
Yeah.
I think
natural is best, but I'm going to play a little devil's advocate for this. So back when I was having babies, like, I was working really hard, and I'm more like a show cow than a Holstein cow. So it didn't really super work for me. And I remember with my first child, I was weeping, and I was like so frustrated that breastfeeding just didn't work for me. And I was pumping, and I was this, and I was that, and I was whatever, and it was too much. And so I did switch to formula, and my kids are okay. Would breast milk had been better? Yeah. But for myself, like, I needed to be healthy mentally, emotionally, physically, to be able to do everything that I was doing.
And again, it's like a holistic thing. You've got to be like, if this is completely stressing you out, you're just a wreck, then it's going to have more consequences than benefits,
right? And so if you're a breastfeeding mom, or a mom that just, that you're a show cow, not a dairy cow, like, it's okay too, because of those things. It's the holistic approach. It's the big picture. It's what's best for everybody, not just... Yeah.
And knowing too, like, there are other things sometimes that you can kind of do for supplements that are a little bit more natural than the long shelf life product out there. Like, there's lots of different options. Don't stress about it though. Like, if it's just a matter of keeping the baby alive, then do what you gotta.
I would suggest keeping your baby alive. Yeah. That is best, right? So,
And thankful for those products.
Yeah.
For those times.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes in the food world, you can kind of become a snob. And you know what? Like, at the end of the day, it's nutrition. Take a vitamin if you're just... can't handle.
So okay. So what I'm hearing you say too is you've got more of a holistic approach. You've got your milk, you've got your, your fresh vegetables. We were chatting about your garden and things too. So now with your children, are you the mom that sends your kids to school or to a friend's house and says, "Oh, but here's our real food and this is what you need to eat"? Or do you kind of just let it go, and hey, if they eat the bag of chips at school, like, you kind of let it go? What's your thoughts and approach on that?
Yeah, I think that my kids would agree that I'm not absolute, full-on strict mom. I bend the rules. I let them have the exciting new things that they want to try, but at the same time, like for the moms that are trying to wean their kids off that stuff, it's it it is a slippery slope. So the more they have it, the more they crave it. So
Yeah.
it's a balance. Like, yeah, you don't want to be a Nazi drill sergeant,
Yeah.
but at the same time,
Yeah.
like just giving them that food and daily, like having that exposure, not bringing the junk in.
Yeah.
They do acquire an appetite for that, and later in life they will be like, oh, I'm missing something. I just don't feel quite right. Like
Yeah.
they can read their bodies that way.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they're constantly sick, then they're never going to know what they should feel like when they are on junk food or health food or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Hey, cool. I love it. So just to wrap up here, any more thoughts that you would have? We've been chatting about raw dairy and things like that, and we've moved on to other topics, which I love. So let's just bring it full circle here. Any final thoughts on raw dairy, milk cows, having food in your backyard? Any wrap up thoughts here?
Yeah, I guess what I would like to put a plug in there is it's a passion of mine as well as Dawn's to help people get kind of set up to succeed in these things that like are so overwhelmingly I can't do it, or it's just too much, like but yeah, like just reaching out to me or Dawn or other people in your realm, like social media, like just asking, hey, could you come help me, I'm bringing a cow home, get kind of a routine down and troubleshoot if there's any kind of like things that you're not too sure on. And like just that's definitely a passion of mine that that I can kind of just help people get going with it and take that first step, because that's sometimes for a lot of people just so intimidating, they just never ended up doing it.
I love that. Absolutely. I appreciate that, man. This was a great session here. Thank you so much for your knowledge, for your insight, for your wisdom, for being here. And I really appreciate the conversation we've had here today. So this has really been good. So hey everybody, go build a garden, plant a garden, go get a milk cow and bite off more than you can chew and take your food system into your own hands and find the community resources. So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening, and we'll keep in touch. So really appreciate this. Bye.